Noon. It begins right now.
Coming up on KX News at noon, a judge hears arguments on why thousands of ballots calling for term limits were thrown out by the Secretary of State. Plus, students are gifted with their white coats as they begin their healthcare journeys. And we'll tell you about a new place that your little ones can go for a little extra help.
Putting North Dakota first. KX News at noon starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me at KX News at noon. I'm Kiara Brown. Leading local this afternoon, the heavy rains yesterday evening brought a lot of flooding with them. Check out this flooding in the capital city. Our very own Andrew Very shot this last night, showing you the raw power that just a little rain can bring. This is the Capitol building in the middle of town. In Bismarck, there were recordings that varied as much as 1.5 to 2 inches. A woman who pleaded guilty to contributing to the deprivation of a 5-year-old boy has now been sentenced. 18-year-old Serenity Foots entered a guilty plea in court yesterday, which dismisses a felony child abuse charge against her. As part of a plea deal, Foots is now sentenced to probation in her part of the child's death. Bismarck police arrested Foots along with Rolanda Doyle and Russell James after a 5-year-old boy died in February. The coroner reported the cause of death as battered child syndrome and ruled it as a homicide. James entered a plea deal last month and agreed to testify against Doyle if subpoenaed. Doyle faced a felony murder charge and felony child abuse charge. Her trial is set for October. A judge now has until the end of the week to decide if a ballot measure for the term limits in North Dakota will be moved. Yesterday in Burleigh County District Court Judge James Hill heard testimony regarding petition gathering thousands of signatures to decide if North Dakota lawmakers should be limited to 2 terms or 8 years in office. Today, Secretary of State Al Jaeger testified to his decision to reject thousands of signatures gathered by the North Dakota for term limits sponsoring group. Jaeger pointed out examples in which Moorhead addresses was crossed out and a Fargo address was filled in, as well as a notary and a circulator who signed off on the signatures, but those signatures appeared to be different in handwriting. Attorneys representing the North Dakota for Term Limits group questioned why Jaeger's office didn't contact the notary about the irregularities.
We do have times where petitions have been tossed out because of a notarial error. In this particular case, particularly with one notary, as it relates to at least 4 circulators, there was more than one error. There was numerous errors.
Judge Hill has until this Friday to submit his findings to the state Supreme Court. Attorneys are then expected to give oral arguments to the state on Friday, September 2nd. We have a response to our open records request to the Attorney General's office related to the deletion of the late Attorney General Wayne Steinem's email account. We don't have Steinem's emails. As you likely recall, his account was intentionally deleted. But what we do have are dozens of emails pertaining to the current administration. Here's a look at what those emails show.
It began with this email sent by the executive assistant for late Attorney General Wayne Stinchum. In the email sent just 1 day after Stinchum's death, Liz Brocker says first thing Monday, could you have Wayne's ND.gov email account shut down and the emails in his inbox folders, sent items deleted. The email goes on to say, we want to make sure no one has an opportunity to make an open record request for his emails, especially as he kept everything. Brocker adds that the request to delete Stinchum's account was approved by then Deputy Attorney General Troy Seibel. A message left for Seibel went unreturned, but news outlet Inforum reported him as saying he doesn't recall any conversation regarding Stinchum's email account following Stinchum's death. Then after the announcement that North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley would be replacing Seibel with his own Deputy Attorney General, Brocker directed the Attorney General IT Department to delete Seibel's email account. North Dakota Century Code states that knowingly tampering with public records is a Class C felony if a person knowingly, without lawful authority, destroys the record. So did Brocker have that lawful authority? A review of a timeline of events furnished by the Attorney General's office shows that around July 5th, Brocker was asked what authority she could offer for ordering the deletion of former Deputy Attorney General Seibel's account. She did not provide any authority. Yet on or around July 22nd, an unnamed staff attorney at the Attorney General's office determined, quote, there was lawful authority to dispose of emails after action was taken. The document continues, lawful authority means statutory authority, which the office had. Emails show there were attempts to retrieve the accounts, but according to Greg Hoffman, Deputy Chief Information Officer with the state IT department, once the user accounts have been removed and a 30-day window has elapsed, there's no retrieving the email information from those accounts. This seems like something that should be addressed from a records retention perspective. Just my 2 cents, but wouldn't it make sense to put in place some sort of records retention requirement for former employees' email? Attorney General Wrigley told us in July he didn't inherit a record retention policy when he took office.
We're going to have a written policy, but we're creating it right now because I didn't inherit one and we're putting one in place.
But a review of the state IT department's website shows there is a record retention schedule for state agencies. The retention of electronic communications is determined based on content. If the message is a record that documents official business of the department, the record must be retained for the appropriate retention period. For instance, state agency correspondence should be retained according to the retention schedule for 2 years, at which point it shouldn't be disposed of at all, but instead should go to the state archivist.
He has to look at stuff to find out if there's historic record, and you'd have to agree that Winston Chum's historic record is valuable.
Instead, correspondence of the state's longest-serving Attorney General is now considered irretrievably erased.
We left a message for Brocker at a number listed for her, but did not hear back. There is a Government Administration Committee meeting scheduled for today. There are plans to discuss the least cost overrun that led to the discovery of the deleted emails at that meeting. KX News' Josh Meny will be there to provide you updates. An area nonprofit is helping people learn how to get the most bang for their buck. Independence Inc. hosted a class to help people with disabilities manage their money. In the virtual classes, participants learned the benefits of buying in bulk, using reward and cashback apps, and how meal planning and online ordering can save you money.
Even if it's $1 here and there, like everything adds up. You know, I've had one app we're going to talk about is Ibotta, and I've had that for almost 6 months now, and I've gotten $40 cash back on it. So, I mean, $40 might not seem like a lot, but it definitely can add up.
She says she enjoys helping others in all aspects of their lives, including finance. As children head back to school, Parents Lead want to remind parents, caregivers, and professionals that resources are available to help support kids' overall behavioral health and well-being throughout the school year at no cost. Parents Lead is a North Dakota program administered by the Department of Human Services Behavioral Health Division. It offers those who work directly with kids on a wide variety of information, recognizing the signs and symptoms of behavioral health concern, early intervention strategies, and treatment and recovery services. For a list of the tips to help kids prepare for the new school year, look for this article over at kxnet.com. If you're a parent or a guardian, you know all too well the struggles of trying to find someone to watch your child. Tomorrow on KX News, right after the 6 o'clock news, join us for our latest town hall, Chasing Childcare, where we will tackle the task of trying to find quality childcare for your little ones. Still to come on KX News, how one library in the area is doing a lot more than helping people check out books, and flooding, hail, and more. Amber Whitler breaks it all down next in your full forecast.